See?
That's right.
You see, and I think that you know, people they interpret things differently. Well, from the exterior.
That's right.
You know, just because a person is dressed well and eat well, live well, that don't mean that they can't have HIV.
That's right. And you know, the other sad thing, I was looking at some information recently, and about 80% of kids under the age of 13 that have AIDS are African American.
80%?
In the United States of America.
Is that right?
Around 80% of the kids younger than age 13.
Well, how do they get exposed?
90 some odd percent of those kids get it from their mothers.
From the mother?
From the mothers.
So the mothers are the culprit?
The mothers are contracting HIV in their relationships. An African American woman, more than any other woman in this country, is more likely to only date African American men. Mm-hmm. African American women generally stay within their race. For relationships. Now, if you have, the statistics are astounding that said if things continue as they are, 1 of every 3 African American males at some point in their life will have some kind of contact with the criminal justice system or be incarcerated.
Right, right.
Once an African American male gets into the criminal justice system, his potential for contracting HIV/AIDS skyrockets. Is
that right? So the prisons are the one of the culprits then, and just like you mentioned that in my experience with the drug lab, people don't realize is that about we're 13% of the population, 12, 13, and 80% of the inmates. See, and the inmates said they develop a desire there, and this is where the HIV actually come from. The fact that that the female generally is aware of it, but the male, so it's the male African American that's carrying the HIV.
It's, you know, it's moving about, and so if you have a guy on the down low, or whatever term they're using these days, that man will have sex with a man, that man also has sex with women. Most of the guys don't know their HIV status. There have been studies that have been shown that show that if you take men who have sex with men, about 70% of those guys don't know their HIV status. They haven't been tested. But a large percentage of them, and it differs across the place, but if somebody's...
So economics is one of the things too, don't you think, that drive really the African American to commit crime, so he's incarcerated, and the rate that he's incarcerated is the thing that's actually killing him.
And I think that the point that you make is an excellent point. This is all a continuum.
Right.
If a child isn't educated appropriately, so if a child is not reading on level in the 3rd or 4th grade, if you take an African American male or a boy who's not reading on grade point level for the 4th grade, the criminal justice system takes all the boys who are not reading on par in the 4th grade, and they plan to build beds for them in the criminal justice system for when they become adults. So the number of beds that are built in the prison system
is
based on the boys that do not read on level for the 3rd and 4th grade.
Is that right?
So our society is preparing to incarcerate those boys.
Right, and that's the reason the incarceration rate is so high then, because it's something that's planned. It's not haphazard.
It's not haphazard. And so then if a boy is not educated appropriately, he's not going to finish school. If he doesn't finish school, then what is he going to do to earn a living?
Right. Exactly.
You got to make money from somewhere.
Right.
So if he doesn't make money
legally, makes it illegal.
That's right. Makes it illegal.
Right.
Then he's going to end up in the criminal justice system. And so when you hear statistics about equally as many African American males incarcerated as there are, you know, in college, I mean, all of those things. And there's some people who debate those statistics, but we all say it's too many African American males that aren't finishing their education. There are too many being incarcerated. And all of that together.
Well, what about getting back to the parent, and whether a single parent or really they have 2 parents? What is the ratio there? Do you think the fact that so many women are having children and they don't have fathers? image.
70% of all births in Prince George's County are to single parent homes.
70%.
70%. That's right.
Of the birth of African Americans in Prince George's County.
Prince George County in general.
Prince George County in general.
Single parent homes.
Is single family homes. 70% is single family. Well, that's the key.
Now
you know, the women, they have to stop having children if they don't have a father.
That's right. Now, some children do perfectly fine.
Right.
I mean, you have President Obama raised by a single mother. You have,
right.
You know, Ben Carson.
But the chances of that happening is in the millions.
Right. They're in the millions.
They're in the millions.
And so I think in society.
So what is your solution to that?
I think we have to prepare to educate kids and to help parents help their kids be successful. Because I think a single parent, whether it's a single parent mother or a single parent father,
right.
they're working, trying to raise their kids.
Right.
You need a break every now and then.
Right.
Because, so I think we have to structure our social programs and our school systems and everything we do to make it easier for parents to get a break and to positively give positive opportunities for their children to kind of flourish and to grow and to nurture, so they're not dependent on drugs and crime and sexual relationships, to kind of make them feel important. We got to give people opportunities to help themselves, to help their kids.
Well, what do you think? You know, this abortion deal and things of this nature, people, you know, up and go both ways on that. If in fact the birth rate of single women goes down, that means the HIV, you think, would be affected?
It's a possibility, but it's kind of the chicken and the egg. And so if we, for many years, the federal government has tried to make a vaccine for HIV. So sometimes they say, we can't stop the problem, so let's just cure the problem. But I take the other perspective. I said, you know what? It's just because somebody can be sexually active doesn't mean they have to be sexually active. And I don't think abortion is a form of birth control.
Okay, well, that goes back to education. What the women need to, the female basically need to do is stop having children. They have to be educated to the point is that they have to have protection when they have a sexual relation. If they don't have protection, then there's no intercourse.
That's right. And I think across the board, that responsibility is on the man and the woman.
Both of them, right.
And even if a woman is beyond childbearing age, she's not having kids anymore, she still needs to protect herself, not catch anything.
You heard it here on Ed Brown Show. Hey, the women out there, you got to protect yourself. The men, you too. It's just unbelievable that the rate of HIV is related basically to sex. Having sex with men and women. And this is something that you can do something about. I'm talking about you there. You can educate your children, and you can stop having children unprotected, having sex unprotected. You just don't do it. You've heard it here on the Ed Brown Show, and we're going to bring the doctor back here, Dr. Schell, and we're going to get on this problem because it's a problem that we can work out. Okay, so remember that the next time you get hyper and everything, protect yourself, both men and women. See you next time.